Previously, when Princess Lewellyn and Duke Almondite arrived at the top of the tower, Lewellyn stepped near the holy tree, and as she attempted to pick the golden apple to end the ceremony, it started to glow abnormally, which perplexed her immediately. But before she could react further, the fruit suddenly transformed into a venomous snake. The snake then quickly lunged at Lewellyn to bite her, but she lost her balance and tripped from the edge of the raised platform. Almondite tried to rescue her, but it was too late, as Lewellyn had already fallen from the tower towards the ground at full speed. So, let's dive into the chapters 70, 71 and 72 of the manhwa, The Secret Bedroom of the Forsaken Princess. As Lewellyn falls rapidly towards the ground, Almondite desperately calls out her name and tries to catch the falling princess, even though he knows he cannot reach her. Meanwhile, Lewellyn is immersed in a deep dilemma, pondering what just happened to her and why it is happening in the first place. She is even more shocked to see the gruesome expression on Almondite's face, because he was the one who left Lewellyn alone at the time when she needed his presence beside her the most. Intense panic spreads among the audience as they witness their princess's tragedy. Moreover, Bastion screams out Lewellyn's name with his eyes wide open in shock and horror. Pamela and Vivian's eyes also widen momentarily, but a satisfied smirk soon spreads across their faces. Pamela then delivers a menacing smile, muttering that this is why she warned Lewellyn to stay within her boundary, adding that just because Lewellyn behaved rudely in front of her, she gave her a death punishment. Meanwhile, Lewellyn starts to cry, reflecting that it is obvious for her to die someday, but she did not expect it to be so soon. But she accepts her fate, speaking that by this she does not need to suffer terrible things anymore and can reunite with her mother. However, a ray of hope comes in the form of the Asmodeus stigma, which rescues the princess. The stigma creates a protective barrier around Lewellyn's body and greatly reduces her falling speed, using the same powers that once forced her into unwanted encounters with men. Lewellyn then starts to fly in the air like a fairy, radiating a godly aura that surrounds the place. As the subject of Brigent witnessed this unbelievable power inside a royal member for the first time in their lives, they cannot control their amazement and are totally taken aback by this incident. Lewellyn slowly lands on the ground floor without any harm to her body. Moreover, as she glances towards the audience, they respond with a mixture of curiosity and fear towards her. On the other side, Pamela and Vivian's faces convey a sense of disbelief and concern regarding Lewellyn's hidden ability, whereas Bastion and Almondite are amazed and astonished at her extraordinary display of power. Yet, Lewellyn is surprised and confused by her own actions, pondering what just happened. Nevertheless, the spectators abruptly spring up in enjoyment, shouting that their princess has finally become the Golden Crow and landed with God's powers. Lewellyn flinches heavily at noting the changed behavior of the people of Brigent towards her. Plus, the consistent use of the title My Highness by the audience for her ignites a radiant sparkle in Lewellyn's eyes and a crimson flush on her cheeks. But in an instant, she clenches her trembling arm, reflecting that when she was a kid, she received the same unlimited devotion and endless love from the same people and thought that she would be their king in the future. But in the present, she cannot receive the same admiration, as she is nothing but a betrayed princess. Her remorseful thoughts are interrupted by Tristan, who worriedly inquires if she is all right. Bastion also rushes towards her, asking if she is hurt anywhere. Observing the sudden commotion around her, Lewellyn answers that she is totally fine. Meanwhile, Almondite feels relieved to find that she is completely unharmed. Bastion then shakily asks why she fell from the top of the tower all of a sudden, at which she nervously explains that there was a venomous snake hiding in the fruit. Hearing this, the other royalty along with Bastion become shocked with their eyes wide. However, Pamela, at observing that the royalty is starting to take Lewellyn's side, delivers a conspiring gaze, not wanting to lose this chance to humiliate Lewellyn in front of everyone. Pamela provokingly states that it was just a mistake for Lewellyn to consider a fruit as a snake, adding that a snake cannot appear inside a holy place, and also hears that Lewellyn does not been feeling well recently, mentioning that she might be hallucinating in broad daylight. By approaching near her, Pamela accuses Lewellyn of hiding something more important from them, swiftly interrogating why she defied gravity and floated in the air with a radiant aura instead of plummeting downward with rapid speed. She then asks the audience if it is not strange for Lewellyn to do this when she has no powers. Yet, Pamela halts her statements and teasingly declares that perhaps Lewellyn received some dark powers by sacrificing her body to some demon, just like her dead mother, who did the same thing before her execution. Dear viewers, apologies for the interruption. If you're genuinely enjoying the content on this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe icon with all notifications, since this little support of yours will help this creator continue delivering high-quality work to brighten your day. And take a moment at the end of the video to leave a comment, sharing your thoughts on the content. Your feedback means a lot. Now, let's not take up too much of your time and jump back into the story. This revelation brings heavy discomfort to Bastion and Tristan's faces, and a clear smile to Vivian's face, who enjoys Lewellyn's humiliation by Pamela. Moreover, the surrounding royalty immerse themselves into deep silence for a bit, whispering among them that her power is indeed strange. They speculate that perhaps when she fell, it was just an act similar her dead mother, declaring that since Lewellyn also has her mother's blood, it is obvious. As Vivian wants to hurt Lewellyn even more, she springs up with an act, stating what if her dark powers affect Diane. This statement alerts the audience, prompting them to move away from Lewellyn and suggest to each other to be more careful around her, fearing that she might use her dark powers and burn them to death. This prompts Lewellyn to hide her embarrassed gaze, reminding herself that this is what her current situation, confirming that from the past until now, Pamela is the only person who has consistently bullied her and seen her as a joke. However, an unknown man abruptly steps out from the audience, informing Pamela that Lewellyn did not use any black magic. Listening to this, Pamela rebukes the man, asking how he dares to interrupt in the matters of the royal members. The man quickly apologizes for his rude behavior and starts to remove his black hoodie from his face. The person is none other Patron Ernell, who surprises the people around him with his sudden presence among them. In shock, Pamela nervously inquires why he is here. Ernell responds that he simply wishes to see the Golden Crow ceremony without disclosing his identity. And as Ernell gazes towards Lewellyn, her cheeks turn red right away. He then glances at the top of the tower, expressing that he can feel the breath of gods around here, so it is normal to see God's power. Coming beside Lewellyn, he assures Pamela to drop her negative thoughts, because this place is God's domain and no dark magic can enter here. This revelation prompts the royalty to change their minds, whispering that it turns out that God himself helped Lewellyn. Moreover, she is again surrounded by Bastion, Tristan, and Ernell, who love and care for her the most. Vivian and Pamela become heavily irritated at noting how Lewellyn has captivated powerful men on her side. Meanwhile, Lewellyn deeply reflects that even if this is God's power, her stigma will eventually try to fight back against it. Suddenly, Ernell extends his hand towards Lewellyn's neck and activates the stigma by touching it. And as she senses his abrupt touch, the stigma activates and sends a quick shock through her body. Feeling the immense power, she asks herself if it is the stigma itself that prevented her from falling. However, Pamela interrupts her thoughts, yelling despite it not being dark magic. Lewellyn's accusation about a snake hiding in the holy fruit is totally absurd, adding that Lewellyn just wants to create chaos on the historical day of the country. But in an instant, Almondite arrives, shouting that what Lewellyn told them is not at all a lie, and by throwing the same venomous snake in front of them, he states this is what attacked her and that he caught it when it tried to escape. Pamela is shocked to see that Almondite actually brought in evidence. Shouting furiously, Almondite declares that this is an unforgivable attempt to assassinate the princess. He then turns towards Bastion, inquiring what he thinks about this incident, at which Bastion answers that indeed this is an unforgivable crime. Besides, by swiftly scrutinizing the reactions of both Pamela and Vivian, he mutters that he does not know if one of them did this or both of them. But his thoughts are interrupted by Tristan, who requests Bastion to let him find the culprit behind Lewellyn's assassination attempt. This declaration makes Lewellyn flinches heavily, reflecting that Pamela obviously did this and Tristan's actions will anger Pamela even more. Meanwhile, Bastion compliments Tristan for being such a loyal knight to Lewellyn, and decides to give complete authority of this mission to Tristan and his Red Knights. He announces that if Tristan can catch the perpetrator, the punishment will be execution, asking his mother, Pamela, if she thinks the same, to which Pamela unwillingly affirms his decision. Bastion then shifts to Almondite's side, inquiring if this is enough for his wrath. To this, Almondite thanks Bastion for his quick judgment. By clenching his fist, he confirms himself that his wrath does not matter, because what is more important is that Lewellyn was almost killed due to someone's jealousy. As we wrap up today's segment, thank you for being with us until the very end. I'll be sharing fresh videos of this manga and exciting new series every weekend. Your support is invaluable, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your encouragement keeps the channel thriving, and I appreciate it immensely. Until next time, take care and goodbye.